Well, hello there. It has been a while. You see not only the physical changes to my area or whatever, but my physical appearance as well. If you are someone that frequents this channel, at least, watch the videos here. So, let me not bear the lead. This video might be a lengthy one here, but because I've been gone for so long, I'm going to do two videos. This video that you're seeing, and then another video. And then after that, I'm going to continue doing videos, but I don't have any other ideas yet. So let's get into this one. So, where have I been? What's going on? Am I still alive? Well, on the outside, yeah, but nah, on the inside, I'm still alive too. I went through a lot of hardships. Now, the last time that I was on here, what video was that? I don't think, it probably was like around New Year's, I believe. And if I might be mistaken, because maybe I played the video out in my head, and I just simply never recorded or uploaded that video, but I think it was around New Year's where I made that video. I will double check. If that's the case, then video number 2 is pointless, and then I'll just do away with that. But more on that whenever that video, if that comes out. But a lot has happened to me since the beginning, since the end of 2021. A lot has happened to me and for me, I guess. Let me just put it that way. I guess wording is everything. A lot has happened for me, but a lot has happened in my life since 2021. But the timeline I'm talking about specifically as to why I've been so gone, right, happened at the end of 2021 and at the beginning, and up until I want to say the beginning of this month in February. So I want to say yes, the last month of 2021, so December, and then 2022, February of 2022, which is obviously right now. A lot has happened. Now, it might not seem like a lot as far as me listing off the things that's happened, that went on, but when I say a lot has happened, I am simply talking about just events. So let me just start from the start. The space, right? You're probably like, oh, he finally found a dedicated space in that apartment, and the lighting is actually good, and this, that, and the third. That's because I'm not in that apartment anymore. I'm back home in Boston, Massachusetts. That's number one. Why am I back home? Well, because of a premature eviction. Premature meaning that I wasn't going to get evicted in the first place. I just found that out literally the other day, that eviction was not the case, and I was, under the impression that that was going to happen, but that wasn't the case there. That's number one. Number two, it's that, and I pretty much ended up in the situation to where, and I'm still living paycheck to paycheck if I'm really being honest, but I was staying in a hotel room, and not the best of hotels and motels, for 3 weeks, and yeah, that was eating up all the money that I was making. Therefore, I wouldn't have, if I'd stayed another week, I wouldn't have had money for anything else, to be honest with you. It was either stay in this hotel room and find some change to get something to eat, or spend this last bit of money that you have and go home and start over again, right? Maybe I will do videos in the future about just that mentality and just everything that's going on as far as how I'm feeling, because this was definitely an event that I learned a lot about myself, but I learned a lot about, and I mentioned it in other videos about, boundaries and things, this, that, and the third, but it changed me. It changed me, and I will say that it changed me for the better. Now, that does not mean that I'm going to keep it real. It doesn't mean I'm thankful for, the people in this situation that caused this change, right? I absolutely still have ill feelings toward how things went down, but I'm on a plan of going forward and moving forward, right? So let me stop beating around the bush. What happened was, we all know that, at least you probably had some idea, that I was in a living situation where it wasn't the most ideal, and I found that out I came to the realization, to me, that it wasn't the most ideal living situation, a couple months into actually first moving in with this ex girlfriend of mine. The first couple months, I would say, were great. Well, they weren't great, they weren't perfect, but they weren't necessarily too bad anyways, because it was both of us doing our part, doing whatever we can to do to make sure that we sustain the apartment, to make sure that we, sustain the type of lifestyle that we wanted, right? And work toward, bigger goals. But then sometime down the line, she just stopped doing her part. She stopped pulling her weight. She blamed health issues. She blamed all these other reasons as to why. And I understand it, but, adults still got to do what adults still have to do. And I'm going to take pauses to sip on some water, so that's just what it's going to be. This video is going to be long enough anyway, so I just figured I might as well take my water sips when I can. So, she just stopped being the person that she advertised herself to be prior to me moving in with her. Now, I will take blame for the things that I feel as though I should take blame for. By the way, I'm not going to mention every single thing, because I actually did a podcast episode about this, which will be linked in the description box below. You can check that out. And also, please feel free to subscribe to my podcast. It is a weekly podcast. If you are here and you want more content from me, or in general, you just want to hear from me and see what I'm doing, I have a weekly podcast, or had a weekly podcast since 2017, long before starting this channel. So if you want, your daily dose or even a weekly dose of Ernest, check out the podcast down in the description box below. There's a bunch of episodes I'm pretty sure you haven't listened to, so, get to listen if you subscribe, and I appreciate that. But anyways, I did an entire full breakdown on the podcast about everything. I will share some stuff here, but I'm not going to share everything here. So as I was saying before, she just stopped doing and stopped, I guess she either revealed who she really was, or she just, for some reason, just, stopped doing what she felt as though she stopped being an adult. Let's be real. I'm just going to be real. She just stopped being an adult. And then for several months, it felt like I was just taking care of a child. I was taking care of myself and taking care of a grown child. Now, if this woman was my 25-year-old daughter, which I'm now old enough to have a daughter who is 25 years old, but let's just say if I was, hypothetically speaking, if I was old enough to have a daughter who was 25 years old, I wouldn't have mind doing the things that I was doing for this woman, cooking, cleaning, providing a home, providing a safety, net for this woman, because this woman is my daughter. Whether she's 25, 15, or 5 years old. If I have kids, I plan on being the type of parent that is always going to take care of my child, even if they're 30 like me, even if they're 45 or whatever. As long as I'm alive and well, I am going to do what I gotta do to take care of my child. That's just me. Even other people I'm involved with, but I will go out there. There's limits to where I would go to help another adult who is very capable of doing so. And she is very capable of doing well. And when she applies herself, she's very capable of doing so. She just didn't apply herself the way that she could have or should have. Hopefully Alright, so Karen's gonna probably just act weird a bit. Hopefully that doesn't mess up everything, because this video is way too damn long. I can already tell for it to just start messing up. But there's a limit that I have. There's a limit that I have, especially when I feel as though I'm being taken advantage of. She was working. There was a time when she was out of work, but then she was working, but yet the money was. I don't know who agrees to, especially if they have multiple jobs. Someone with multiple jobs should be able to sustain, quite a lot of money, but it seemed like the money wasn't there on her end. She always had an excuse as to why she didn't have any money. I gotta pay this bill, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And I know bills gotta be paid, but I highly doubt it, because number one, every bill that she got, she tossed it to the side, or would say that she was gonna pay it off later. And it seemed to be the same $200 bill in the first place, which again, if you have multiple jobs, you are making a lot more than $200. So you could easily pay your half of the rent and also pay this bill. Where the money was really going was just food and her own personal stuff, whether it be buying things that she said it was for the house, but it was really for her. Whether it be like, I don't know, weed, alcohol, outings with friends and stuff. It was all just going to her, and she expected me to, provide everything, all of my money. I couldn't just do what she did. I couldn't do that, because someone had to be the responsible person. Hopefully y'all don't hear my neighbors screaming, but hopefully y'all don't hear my neighbors screaming. Anyways, someone had to be the responsible one in the house, and that's a shame, because again, there's two adults that's living there. Two grown-ass, able-bodied adults that both were working. One had a lot more. One had 3 times as more jobs than the other one. She had 3 jobs and I had 1. Never held down more than 1 job at a time, by the way. But this is someone who claimed that she could do it because she did it before. She claimed she done it before. So that was my thing that was really upsetting about her and really disappointing about her. This is someone who once again claimed that she's lived on her own before and done all these things for herself before. Did not display any of that while we were together. So if you've done these things before, why can't you do them again? If you've held down multiple jobs before, why can you not do that again? Or at least I didn't even expect her or say that she had to have multiple jobs. A job would have sufficed, She was the one that wanted more jobs because she wanted more money coming in so she could have more money to pay for whatever shit she wanted for herself. That's about it. But as far as just that was going on. And it was hard for me to make content. And y'all know I like to do these things when I'm home alone, like right now. It was hard for me to make content when, if I was working, she was home, or when she was, when she was out working, or whatever the case is, I would be out as well, or I'd be busy doing something else. It was hard to make content that way. It was also, and this is just me more so blaming myself, not to do with her. I felt as though that, a part of me felt as though in order for me to do a channel like this, I would have to be, perfect or whatever, when the point of this channel is for me to just update people on like what I'm going through and be vulnerable and just, since people always saying things, as I referred to the first video that I've done, people are always saying things like you're so private, this, that, and the third. This is the channel for that, for me to, show, explain things, and, it's kind of like, I guess, a personal blog of this, that, and the third, right? So there's that aspect of it. It got to the point where I believe January hit. This is January. And I knew, it's the first of the month. So, rent's coming. I knew this. I knew this prior as well, obviously. But I'm asking her like, yo, you're gonna have your side of the rent. Rent is coming up. This, that, and the third. Blah, blah, blah. Now, the way that this apartment complex did it was, yeah, rent was due at the first of the month, but technically they gave us till the 5th of every month to get the rent in. So I'm telling her, yo, you don't even have to have it in by the 1st and stuff. I had my half for ready, but it's like, as always, but it's like, yo, like, just have it in by the 5th, really. Hey, if I gotta wait till the 5th to pay it all off, that's fine with me. Just have it in by then, and if we're past that, then obviously it's late. You know, they want it, they say the 1st, but it's really the 5th. Either or, still, it's at the beginning of the month, you know, when you're supposed to have it in. And, she didn't have it. Again, it was another excuse. Now, she claimed that, you know, again, this is a woman who is supposedly working these damn multiple jobs, and yet when I ask her about the money, she gets an attitude about it. When you know, I ask her, well, how are you working 2 jobs now? Because one job let her go because of a COVID scare, right? She didn't get COVID, I didn't get COVID, but she hung out with, you know, shared a joint, smoked weed and everything with someone who ended up getting COVID. Shockingly, she didn't get it. You know, this is a crazy virus where you can possibly share it. Now, I'm not encouraging anybody out there that, by the way, I'm not going to encourage anybody out there to go smoke, share a blunt, share bottles of liquor, share whatever with someone who has COVID, and to see if you are going to get it. Don't do it. But luckily, she didn't get it. You know, but the friend did end up getting it. And the friend got it, I believe, from her mom or so, right? So she went out and she did the responsible thing. I'll give her that. She did the responsible thing, informed her jobs about it, and 1 out of the 3 jobs that she had just straight up fired her for it. Now, maybe it was the weed smoke. Maybe they had a no smoking policy, and yeah, I really just, first of all, that I was looking at that timer, and it was on like 0 seconds for like a good 17 minutes. Let's keep it real. So I didn't think it was gonna move or anything, right? That's a timer for an app that I use, where it's a cryptocurrency app. You know, I explain all of that on my other channel where I talk about how I make money in cryptocurrency online, this, that, and the third. If you're interested in that, just comment below, and I definitely will, you know, send you a message. Can you still send messages on YouTube? Comment below, and then I'll just let you know about my Twitter, or you can just hit me up on Twitter. I'll try to leave that in the description box below as well. Just hit me up on Twitter, and let's say, hey, you know, I'm interested in that channel, this, that, and the third, and then I'll direct you to that channel. I would love it if you subscribe over there as well, because that channel, I am trying to get at least, now I would love to get more, but at least 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. Yes, and I'm only at, I think I'm at like 69 now. So I got ways to go, but it's still, the year is still young. I am active on that channel every single week, if not daily. It's definitely multiple times a week. And I still have, after I do these videos for this channel, I have a couple videos for that channel still. And I have some channels in like the queue waiting to be uploaded and edited and everything. So I'm more active on other avenues than I am here. That does not mean I'm going to abandon here. It's just, you know, I do other things other than talk about myself and update y'all on what's going on with my life. So there's that aspect there. But again, yeah, she caught an attitude with me. She didn't want to. She didn't want to be the responsible adult that a 25-year-old person, man or woman, or whatever identifier that they have, should be. You know, she didn't want to do that. We got into a huge argument. We had plenty of arguments too, but this one was one where I was already done with her. At this point, we weren't together. We were just roommates. I'm just gonna put it that way. We were just roommates or whatever. I felt as though she, wanted to rekindle something. She wanted things to, uh, sorry, it's my friend calling, but I'm recording right now. Ugh. I'll call him back later. But nah, I feel as though she wanted to rekindle things, but that's off the table because she is who she is, and I am who I am, and I don't think we're just meant to work together. I think what will fit best for her, other than her working on her damn self, but if she's not going to change, at least somebody who is willing to do all the things that she expects a man to do, while she does the bare minimum or does nothing at all and doesn't reward him with anything at all. If she can find a man who is satisfactory with all of that, then more power to her. But if that man doesn't exist, which I find it hard-boiled that there's any man, even the simps out there, that are going to want to expect something in return, I don't think there's a man out there, that's going to settle for all of that. But anyways, I just felt as though it was done. So we were already done, but we were like in a roommate situation-ish. But the deal was that if she was going to stay there, she would have to still pull her weight. She could have easily just left out and not paid rent. Simple as that. She could have moved out, because we had this discussion before. She could have moved out, kept her name on the lease, so she won't have to pay, an early termination fee of the lease. Kept her name on a lease, moved out, but I would end up paying all of the rent and taking care of the apartment. But the trade-off would be, obviously, I would be alone and I would be there, satisfactory, happy, because I'm away from her. That didn't last very long. That was the deal for some time, and I was active during that time on here. So, yeah, that should have told y'all a little something, but nah. That lasted for a little bit until she came back. And then she claimed she came back because her aunt, who she was staying with during this little short, brief mini vacay for me, she said that her aunt didn't have internet and she needed internet for, school and work. And since I had the internet because I was paying for the shit, it was like, okay, but you have to pay here. You have to pull your weight here if you're gonna stay. Like, there's no staying here for free. Like, if you want to stay somewhere for free, go stay at your family's house. Her family didn't even want her to move in, which should have been a sign to me. I was ignoring a lot of the signs there. Don't take this super long video as me just pointing fingers at her and saying that she was, all of what was wrong with, our relationship. Absolutely, she played a part into the dysfunction that was going on in my life. But ultimately, I allowed it to happen. I allowed a lot of this stuff to happen. I allowed her to get away with certain things. I allowed this stuff to happen for as long as it did. I could have left earlier. I should have left earlier. I could have put my foot down and said, no, you're not moving back here. And if you want to take your name off the lease, then so be it. You're the one that's going to be paying for the termination fee, not me. And I don't care if the rent is going to go up because your name is no longer on the lease. I will work so I can afford it. I mean, I was working. So at least I know for a fact that I'm the one that's, taking care of things here. So this, that, and the third. So there were a lot of times where the ball was in my court and I just Ben Simmons'd it. Yes, I Ben Simmons'd it. If you are familiar with Ben Simmons, whenever it comes time for him to shoot the ball or he has the perfect opportunity to just slam it down in somebody's face, he literally passes on those moments. And I did that. I was the Ben Simmons of that relationship. No, that does not mean she was the Joel Embiid. Absolutely not. I was the only b-ball player in that relationship. But I've been Simmons a lot of the situations that I could have gotten me in a better space mentally, financially, physically. And it was kind of until I hit rock bottom and I guess faced a fear of mine of being homeless for 3 weeks, houseless, homeless, whatever, for 3 weeks for me to say, you know what, I have to go back home. But again, the ugly argument that really made me just detest her as a human being, really not like, or want to be around her, let me put it that way, was the morning after, right? We had this argument or whatever. It was the morning after, and I tried to, because I was really standoffish about her getting COVID, right? Like when she, well, not her getting COVID, but when she told me about the scare, right? When she first told me, I was really like, yo, stay the fuck away from me, this, that, and the third. I don't want to talk to you, this, that, and the third, right? Because I was upset. It was like, look at your irresponsibility again, possibly getting me sick. Now, I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel the symptoms. I was even COVID negative. So, I didn't get it. None of us in this household got it, like I said. But it's like, still, I didn't know that until, the results came in. Before then, it was like, you're being irresponsible. You only care about yourself. You went out with this friend of yours, and you smoke weed, and this, that, and the third. The thing is, like, this friend did say prior to them doing what they did that night that, yo, my mom has been sick, this, that, and the third. And it's like, you didn't think to once think like, hey, I don't know what your mom got, but if she's sick and you live with her, which means you've been around her, which means you may have contracted something, then it's a possibility that you can give that something to us here, at this little hookah lounge, right? So I'm going to do, now if she lived by herself and that was what I was saying to her that morning, you know what, you wouldn't have to worry about me getting on you about your responsibilities like I'm your damn dad if you just stayed on your own. If you was the only one here, or if I was the only one here, you wouldn't have to worry about, well, maybe I shouldn't hang out with somebody who's around somebody who has COVID, because now I don't have to worry about giving the other person that I stayed with COVID-19. She didn't think about that, and then she got upset about it. So it got to a point where I was just like, you know what, like I'm done. And then but I started, getting loud and everything, and then she ended up getting loud. She got loud, and then she got in my face. Now, people who know me, who like really, really know me, know that I don't take kindly at all to any form of physical abuse, physical harm. Not when it comes to others, not when it comes to me. If someone tries to hit me, I'm gonna try to kill them. All the fights I've been in, these weren't just, fights where it's like, okay, yeah, I really wanted to really hurt those individuals. I've done things in the past I regret, So at this very moment, I didn't touch her, I didn't do anything. But I was really, really scared for her and myself. I was scared because, one, it's like if she really hits me, shit is going down. I just know it, because she was all in my face, trying to back me up against a wall. But then I ended up walking out of the room because she was in the bedroom. and I sat down on the couch where I slept all through those months because I wouldn't share a bed with her. But that's neither here nor there. But I sat down on the couch, and she got in my face there. She started yelling, "Get off her couch, get out of her apartment, this, that, and the third." And I'm sitting there like, oh, it's your apartment, it's your couch, but you don't pay the bills. So that's why I'm like, you don't pay bills, you don't cook, you don't clean, but it's your house. And then she's like, oh, but I bought that couch, right? And then I'm just sitting there like, okay. So she did fully furnish the house. And when I say fully furnished, I mean she paid for the bed, the drawer, and the couch. But that's that. And it wasn't in a house, so let me just say apartment. She did fully furnish the apartment. But after that, first of all, to make it clear, prior to me moving in, I was offering to pay, partial, half, whatever, for that stuff. She said she already took care of all the payments. I think the thing froze on me, or the camera's acting weird. Hopefully, I don't gotta re-record this, because if I do, then I'm just gonna do it in parts, and this gonna be a multiple video series or whatever, right? Because I am not re-recording all of this. It's been a half an hour. Anyways, she did fully furnish the house, but she also said that I didn't have to pay for anything, so that was on her. And like I said, before I moved into the apartment, she had most of the stuff already paid off. Stupid that it came later than usual, but that wasn't on her. But yeah, she had most of the furniture already paid for. So we was just waiting for it. So she says all of that, and throughout that entire relationship, I always knew in the back of my mind she felt like it was her house. That space said nothing about her. Now, I'm being crazy fancy with this room. Once I get more money, of course, I'm going to deck this place out as much as I can, because I felt like I had no space for those months in 2021. I didn't have anything that expressed me. I had my video game system, and that's that, and obviously my laptop and all that, and my belongings and things. But as far as just decorations or how the house looked or whatever, although she claimed that, well, I'm going to give you space for whatever, all the space that you could imagine that I would get was taken up by her stuff. She had so much stuff to the point where she couldn't fit it all in the closet. She couldn't fit it all in the drawers because I had to have drawer space. And even if I didn't have drawer space, I don't think she still could have fit every single thing that she had. A lot of the stuff was in bags and stuff. I'm not giving y'all like a big fool down about whatever, but I'm just saying I had zero space in that place. That place did not feel like me at all. These are things I expressed to her multiple times throughout the time we spent together. And it seemed to go in one ear and out the other. All times. It wasn't like I wasn't expressing these things. So it got to the point, again, it just, the talking went from yelling. And I could have kept my composure all the time. Looking back, what I should have did during that situation, not the situation where she got in my face, because I've been in a situation before where things got physical between an ex and mine, and I never want to be in that situation ever again. So it got to the point where, like I said, if I ever was with someone, even if they were just, someone I was staying with, I would, like, as a roommate situation, and things got physical, even if it was physical to the point where we're just in each other's faces, or they got in my face, or whatever, I feel the need that I need to get in their face. It's like I gotta get out of that situation, because I will never look at that individual the same. I'm sorry. Even if they apologize, people react the way that they do, and I get it. But I will never look at someone the same way if that is, because to me that is the ultimate sign of that I don't really respect you. Yeah, she may not have liked the things that I was saying to her. She may not have liked the tone, and again, my tone could have been better or whatever. I was angry though, so I'm not gonna apologize for being angry. But to do all of that and to then want to put on crocodile tears, or I don't. It seemed as though she always wanted to be super apologetic when she knew the end was near and happening and stuff. And again, I feel as though she felt she can get away with it so much because I was Ben Simmons in a lot during our relationship. There was a lot of times where the ball was in my court and I had a clear lane to the bucket, or I had an open three and I didn't take the shot. And I didn't go down the bucket and I didn't slam that shit in. Or I was the tallest motherfucker under the rim, right? With the ball in my hand, I could easily just boom. And I did not take those opportunities. And those are the opportunities that I wish I did. There was this one apartment building that was, they're looking for residents. They're student housing, but still, they were looking for residents. I got on the call with them because after she had that outburst, right? I remained on the couch. I didn't get up. I didn't do anything else. I remained on the couch because I was at the moment where it's like, I'm gonna see what she does. If she tries to hit me, I'm going to defend myself. That's number one. And whatever happens after this happens. I had no idea what was going to happen. She walked back into the room, slammed the damn door, and just was, cursing me out under the pillow or whatever, right? So, to keep myself from getting mad and shit, and my heart is pumping, I'm heated. I'm heated. So I just listen to music and whatever, trying to listen to some, podcasters that are like motivational for me and things. Try to get my mind right throughout that entire time. But also while I'm doing that, I'm on my laptop and I'm just looking for places. And I'm just like, you know what? Somebody need to get residents now, because it wasn't like I wasn't looking before. As I was pump thinking and on my Ben Simmons shit throughout that stay there, I was still looking for places. I applied to 2 places prior to all of this stuff going down. They just never really got back to me, and I feel stupid because I paid the application fee. It was only $12, but still, I could have that $12 right now. But I paid the application fee and they couldn't even give me a call back. They just sent me an email saying thank you for the application and this, that, and the third, right? But I was applying to places, and that day I was like, I'm really going to look for something right now, because I'm getting the fuck out. Like, if she don't want to get out, fine. She's going to have to do this shit on her own, which she can't. So I'm going to get the fuck out, because ain't no way in hell I'm going to stay in a place where someone feels as though it's right to get in my face like that, because they don't like the things that I'm saying. That is no way to react to somebody. Like, it's just not, especially someone that, even if you're not in a relationship with, you once had a relationship with them, you once had these feelings, or you still do, or whatever the case is, you don't get in people's faces like that. Someone that you claim to care about. And it was like, all right, I see how things are. So let me go apply to places. I applied to places, and one place that I applied to, they called immediately. Like, it was literally probably like, maybe, I want to say like, I'm going to say 2 minutes, but I really, really want to say 1 minute after I applied to them. They called, and I'm on the phone with them, and I'm like, yeah, I really want to get the fuck out. I don't say it like that, but I'm like, yeah, I really need something immediate. So if you could please, like, have something for me, that would be great. The guy's like, yeah, can you move in? I believe it was like January 7th. They're like, hey, yeah, could you move in on the 7th? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Yes, I can move in that day. And He's like, great. Then, well, can't wait to see you then. And I'm like, yeah, cool. So that changed my entire mood. I went from being super angry and super like, woo, and everything to being super happy, and it was like, I don't give a fuck what is being done in the next room. I'm just ecstatic because I'm like, yo, I'm getting my own place. Wow. And then I get a text from her. She's in the next room, but she texted the apology, right? And again, it seemed as though the only time she ever apologized, she's apologized probably one time sincerely. Before it got, worse or whatever when I brought up an issue. All the other times she apologized within the relationship, it was always when things got too late, like when she saw the writing on the wall. And then that's when she apologized because she knew her safety net was being, cut off, or, it was ripping, then it's like, okay, let me apologize, and so I can weave something together so the safety net can hold me together, so she apologized, and again, me being the Ben Simmons in that situation, I won't say that I didn't. Nah, I didn't Ben Simmons that situation. What happened was, because this was around the beginning of January. So it's like, cool, all I gotta do is wait a couple days here, this, that, and the third, boom. So I tell her straight up, yo, I was on the phone with I'm moving into this apartment. You can have whatever here, but I'm gonna stay here till then. But until then, this, that, and the third, she's crying, she's apologetic, she's saying that she does, like, she's promising, this is like her 500th time. I lost count, to be honest with you. That's how many times she's said she was going to do so. But she says that she is going to leave. She's like, no, you don't have to leave, this, that, and the third. You can stay here, and I will leave, this, that, and the third, right? So, again, and this is where I said I was Ben Simmons in it, but I almost did. The plan was like, okay, I can stay. She's giving me the apartment. Let me take a sip. So, cool, I can stay. She's giving me the apartment. She's going to leave. But I don't, being in a relationship with this woman that showed me that you can't really, I was always this way. I didn't always take everybody at their word, but there are some people you just really can't take at their word. She claimed she was going to leave within the next, 2 or 3 days or whatever, because she was in contact with her aunt. Once again, she was going to leave. And again, 2-3 days came by and she never left. So, rent was coming. And this is, again, someone who claimed that she doesn't claim or whatever, or she did, whatever the case is. This is someone who still was working throughout that time when we was living together, right? Still was working, still was making money, all right? A couple days go by, she doesn't leave, so the deal was, again, rent is still coming up, and you still have to pay your half of the rent, and I will do so, but my plan I didn't tell her this part, but my plan was, okay, I'm still going to leave, though. Like, even if I got to pay my half of the rent, I'll pay my half, move into this new apartment. Well, the new apartment, I find out, they're like, well, we told you the 7th, but actually it's more like the 12th or the 14th, okay? So I'm like, well, fuck. This is something I find out literally on the 7th, where I am calling and I'm like, yo, I'm getting ready to move in, this, that, and the third. And then so we're pushing it back to next week, the 12th or the 14th. I'm like, shit. So I have to stay here longer. And I'm like, fine. If I gotta stay another week here, I guess I gotta stay another week here. But that's not something that I really wanted to do. And I've looking back at it, I should have, and then here's the reason why I'm saying I should have. The reason why I'm saying I should have is because I ended up leaving because we got and when I say we, more like her, because I never got the email. She was emailed. Now, in this email, my name was mentioned in it as well. In this letter, my name was mentioned in it as well, but it was more so to her, where she got notified about a possible eviction. That's why I said the term premature eviction, right? The letter said eviction on it. It said that. I saw it. It said eviction. But it said the date of January 10th. So me, I was panicking. I ain't gonna lie, I was panicking. And instead of me, because I remember in the past when I looked up information on the eviction process, this, that, and the third, I was telling her this stuff in the past too. It's a process. It's not a letter and then you got to get the hell out. It's a process. It has to go through courts. They have to go through a court to get it approved, and then they can go ahead with all this stuff. But until that happens, it's not necessarily something to where you get the letter and then you got to be out. A lot of people don't know that. I'm going to talk about that on my podcast, by the way. Again, just to notify folks. But a lot of people do not know that. Or a lot of people, like myself, panic anyways, and then they leave. So that Friday, the 7th, I get the information that I got to wait another week. But also, we was late on rent because she didn't pay her half. And I was trying to make payments with 2 different cards, and they wouldn't accept it for some reason. I had the money on my credit card and on my debit card, but just not all on one card. And I tried to make up her difference once again, as I've been doing for the months, on 2 separate cards instead of one card this time. And they wouldn't accept it for some reason. I forget the amounts and stuff, but that's what I was trying to do. And so I reached out to the managers. It was like, yo, I'm trying to make sure I pay this shit. And it's not accepting both cards, or it's not accepting partial payments from one card and another partial payment from this other card because it wants all the money from this one card. And that was how we were paying rent before, but also they gave us the option on the website. It gives people the option to do a partial payment. So I don't know why when you try to do a partial payment, it would be like you have to put in the amount of money that is equal to or greater than the amount that you owe. That's what the notification kept saying, and why the payments would not go through. So I'm like, so then what's the point of partial payments? Would you just want to take more money from people? That seems really fishy, but okay. So we ended up not doing it on time. So I was like, you know what? If we're going to be out at the 10th or by the 10th or whatever, I'm just going to be out now. So I ended up renting myself a hotel room. Hotel, motel, whatever. I don't know the difference, but one of them stays, right? Stupid little place. It was about like $325 for an entire week, and it was not worth that. Let me tell you that right now. It was not worth that much money. But I did it with the hopes that the 12th or the 14th would come by, right? And I would just move in during said time. And then the 12th and the 14th came by, right? But before that, right, before I get into that, this is almost an hour, but again, like I said, it's going to be a long one. Before that happens, she gives me a text, and this is like later on, like around 12-ish that night, because usually I would get back to the apartment around that time anyways from work. And I guess she knew since I wasn't back then that I wasn't coming back. So she waited until 12. At least that's what I'm thinking her thinking is. She waited till 12 to text me to say, hey, I went to go speak to so-and-so. And, we got the rent extended to the 15th. So I'm like, okay, but I'm still out, I'm still out. I still want to get out. So there's that. And I feel as though she really, really did this with the intention of me once again paying off all the rent. She didn't say, hey, let's go double on it. No, the intent was for me once again to come save the day and to pay off all the rent. I was not going to do it. So that happens. But then I get in contact, I believe it's like, because when I signed up for it, it was like my thing was due like every Saturday, like at the end of, not the end of the day Saturday, but by 11 a.m. every Saturday, I had to be out or at least renew for another week. And I did that, like I said, for 3 weeks. Horrible. Just bad. But, yeah, it came that Saturday, and then I was getting contact with the apartment people again that I was supposed to move into. And then they're like, yeah, sorry, we're going to have to push the date back to February 1st. So I'm like, so you mean to tell me I'm going to be homeless for a month? They're apologizing, but they're like, you know what? If you wait that long and you move in here, the whole month of February, you will move in for free. You'll have free rent for February. That's only 28 days in this month. Everybody knows that's a slick move to make the shortest month in a year Black History Month. For real, like the shortest month in any given year, and you just get free month that rent. Free month that rent, free rent that month. But yeah, it sounds enticing. Don't get me wrong. I would go for 2 days full of rent free or whatever. So it does sound enticing, but when you're homeless, again, you're not thinking, okay, I just gotta thug it out. Maybe some of y'all did, but I was just like, I gotta be in this shithole for another couple of weeks until then. That's absolutely nuts. But then there was some like security deposits and all these other things I had to pay for that apartment before I can even officially move in, that I wasn't able to pay because, again, I was paying to stay in this room per week, and I was also having to grocery shop at a dollar store and a 7-Eleven. Kid you not. That's where I would get my food. And obviously, those places aren't, big grocery stores. And by the way, I had to limit what I can get. One, because I didn't want to spend all the money and not be able to pay if I had to extend the week or so. But also, this room only had a mini fridge and a microwave. So there was no way for me to cook anything if I wanted to cook. That was what I was eating, just snack foods mainly, because I got tired of the microwave. I don't like microwaves in general, but I just got tired of the microwavable pizzas and stuff, and I didn't want to spend all that on that, so I was just eating snack foods and things of that nature and drinking water, right? So there was that, and I was very miserable. I was going through it. As one would in that situation. Like you're homeless. You're in a situation to where you are not only angry at yourself for not doing something prior to you getting, so you won't get in that level, but you're angry at the other individual that was, supposed to take care of their business, that landed you in this situation in the first place. You're gonna harbor some resentment. If I'm the only one who's doing so, then in that situation, then y'all can teach me your ways, because that's exactly how I was feeling. It was, I wish I'd never answered this woman's message in the first place. But when we first met, I wish I would have just never swiped, left on her. I should have left that shit alone. That's what I really think at times, because it's like I wouldn't have been in a situation like this. And then, we did end off things a couple years ago. I did. Let me put it that way. Like, again, I did break things off with her because I didn't like, the fact that she was smothering me. She didn't give me space. I didn't like how I felt as though she was trying to change me into somebody else. And then some reason or whatever the case is, I brought her back. It was just my dumbass room. Let's be real. We got back together, but then it was like, you know what? I'm not feeling this, But the thing is, in that relationship, I learned so much about, like I said, boundaries setting and standing my ground and not giving a fuck if it upsets other people at the end of the day, whether it be loved ones or not. Because my thing is, my entire life, I've been someone that, settled because I didn't want to make others upset. I've always, put others before me. And it just came to a point where it's like, the time is now, and I'm still learning. The time has been passed for you to do for yourself, for you to put yourself before others, even if it hurts your closest friends, family, or someone you're in a relationship with. Because you do so much for other people and you don't never do for yourself. And you're giving to ungrateful people. And it's coming to a point where it's like, hey, you know what? I'm just doing for me, and if anybody got a problem with it, so be it. I know it is hard. It's hard, even someone like myself who's a super introvert. You get lonely out there, but I feel as though that I get over loneliness when the other people in my life make it very clear that, I don't matter. I don't truly matter, What I mean is that they only want me for whatever they can get from me, or they only want me to be at a certain level that they want me at, that's comfortable for them. So I'm not allowed to have dreams. I'm not allowed to grow and elevate and do me and express myself. I'm not allowed to, whatever. I'm just here for them. Once people make it clear that that's how they want me to be, for me, I can't speak for everybody else, but for me, it becomes very easy for me to say, well, then fuck you. Then you're not a part of my life anymore. Or I don't want to be a part of your life anymore. I'm going to cut off the access you have of me, and then you're going to realize, wow, I fucked up. Or if you don't realize it, the simple fact is, at least I'm not dealing with your BS anymore. So that's how I'm looking at this situation. Did get a call from her the other day because the people reached out to us, and or at least one of the property people, managers, or whatever, and they're still expecting a payment for us, breaking the lease. But it's not an eviction. So on the bright side, it's not an eviction. It doesn't go on either of our records, but they still want that payment. I'm just going to keep it real. I don't intend on making that payment. And again, she called just to say that she was going to pay pretty much the majority of the amount. But again, this is someone that I do not have faith in at all. I have zero faith in her keeping her word, because she never did it when we was together. So why the fuck would she feel obligated to do it now? I don't know. If it comes down to it, and I gotta continue grinding and hustling and stuff, I start my new job Monday. Just so I can get it out. And by the way, if you're wondering what's that beeping sound, it's not a bomb, y'all. Calm down. It's my watch. It goes off like that every hour. I've been recording this for an hour now. But it goes off like that every hour. I don't know how to turn it off. I kind of don't want to turn it off because it lets me know the hours went by without me having to look at the watch every time. So, yeah, deal with it. But nah, yeah, if it comes to the point where I got to take care of all of it just cause, and then just to get it out the way, then I will do so incrementally. But yeah, it's like, you know what? I'm not, this one time where you could show, hey, I'm truly sorry for whatever. And that's the thing. She never really, truly apologized for putting me in that situation. Maybe she don't feel sorry. Maybe this, that, and the third. Literally, the last words prior to the other day of her calling was her asking for the damn key. And, the key to the apartment or whatever. She didn't let them know about they should have known. That's another thing or whatever. I'm probably going to discuss that part in the podcast. But anyways, she didn't break anything. She didn't let them know per se that, hey, we're both moving out. She just left. Now, I didn't let them know because I did not know she was going to leave. She never made it clear. She hid a lot of things, to be honest with you. I'm not going to go over everything, but she didn't make it clear about her plans. I made it clear about my plans. I'm here in this hotel room. I didn't say where, but I'm renting a hotel room until I can move into somewhere. Those were my plans, It was just life and shit getting in the way. All these damn pushbacks, and then all this money I had to spend on a room and buying food and things and all that stuff. Yeah, that was just, something that, ruined the plans that I had, and switched them up to the plan that I have now. But she didn't let me know about anything. So, yeah, I didn't know that she was intending on not staying there as well. I'm not surprised because, like I said, I have zero faith that she can live on her own. And I don't know how she did it in the past. I don't even think she did. I think she probably lied about that too. Or probably stayed with somebody and they probably didn't work out because, she was the same way. She didn't want to put in the work to do what she had to do as an adult. Let me clear my throat. Either or, my thing is, I don't feel a responsibility to her anymore. So it's like, why am I paying for shit? But again, if it's something that I have to do, now if they're like, okay, if y'all don't make this payment, then we are going to put eviction on your record. I don't give a fuck. Here's why. I'm in this place now so I can continue to save up and buy my own place. I don't intend on being a renter ever again. First of all, I hate being a renter. Renting fucking sucks. It sucks because, one, I think it is not worth it. It's not worth the trouble. No matter where you rent, I feel as though this could be for me. No matter where you rent, the people in charge are never going to be as on top of their game as they should be. Everything that messed up in that apartment, except for the bug issues or something electrical, which I feel as though I would have fixed had I done the learning. Other than, if there was a bug issue or electrical issue, I ended up fixing it. A sink got clogged up, I fixed that. The toilet got messed up, I fixed that. I fixed every single, outlet. Again, if it was an outlet that wasn't working, I didn't have the tools, and I didn't have the knowledge, of course. So I had to get someone to come in and do it. The point of the matter is, when you're a renter,
Yes, people say, oh, you have the luxury of having the apartment have a team of maintenance people, but they come on their own time. When you want a problem that needs to be fixed, like, I don't know, a sink that is clogged up and things of that nature, you have to fix it because if you put in a request and they're like, oh, all our maintenance people are still on holiday break, then what the fuck you expect people to do? Stay with a sink that, like, come on now. So I had to do that. And it's like, all this trouble for this place, I had to buy tools, I had to buy all this other stuff. And it's like, I wouldn't mind doing it for a house that I own. Because I understand the work, I understand the process. And I know, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I at least understand that it's mostly on me. That if I don't do it myself, then I would have to go out and hire, a private plumbing or private electrical company or whatever, right? To go fix the issue that I'm having. But I understand that there's a difference between that and being a renter. When you are a renter, you're expecting that service to be accessible to you. And then when it's not, and then these people still expect full month's rent, yeah, I have a problem with that. I have a very big problem with that. Some people can stay silent about that. Some people, well, I don't want to make a big fuss. That's them. And I think y'all should do what is right for y'all. But me, I have a problem with that. In no way in hell, I don't care if it's anywhere between $800 to $1,000 a month or even more. I'm paying this money. I should be able to get this service. You should have people on board that's going to be able to help people when they are in need of help, holiday time or not. They didn't take care of what they were supposed to. There's a lot of other shit that I can go through that I'm not going to go through. This video would be more than 2 hours long if I probably did, or at least 2 hours long, and I'm not going to keep y'all here that long. It's just that type of stuff where it's like, this is why I don't want to be a renter, especially in this damn apartment. So yeah, I feel a ways about a lot of stuff. Before I leave, I told y'all about the physical change. Again, staying back in home, Boston, staying with fam. Not that I don't intend on paying rent here, I still do, because I like to pull my fair share. I don't like being a freeloader. Some people are comfortable with sitting on their ass and not doing shit or hoarding their money to themselves. I wish I had that luxury. I don't. I wish I had that mentality. I don't. If I'm staying with somebody, no matter who it is, I feel as though I got to do something to, earn my stay, to earn my keep, basically. That's just me, though. But as far as the physical change and everything else, I had the locks, and I'm still, as you see, I'm growing my hair back. It's coming back. It actually was lower than this at the beginning of February, because I cut it at the beginning of February. So I'm glad that, we're just a couple weeks in, and it's already looking like this. Hopefully it's going to grow more. But prior to that, y'all saw how my locks was looking. Y'all saw that. It's been 3+ years, right? 2019, 2020, 2021, 4 years. Yes, you see me counting my fingers, deal with it. Anyways, so it'd been pretty much 4 years without me getting a retwist. That was unacceptable. What that did to my hair was it locked up a lot of places in my hair and matted a lot of places. And I guess the stress and just things, I was balding up top here in the crown area. Now that was an issue even prior to me getting locks. I feel as though I should have cut my hair. I should have went bald a long time ago and just switched up how I ate and everything else and switched up my routine. But I was balding up top, Hopefully I'm not embarrassing myself. I really can't see now. Got to take a picture, but I was balding up top, That's unacceptable. So I figured, you know what I'm going to do is what all the people that I saw you do on YouTube, and especially this dude that I've seen who regrew his hair and cut his hair multiple times, right? I'm going to cut my hair. I'm going to shave it. And
yeah, you see the beard is grown and everything because I didn't shave all this, right? I just cut the hair and everything, right? And I'm gonna regrow it. I'm gonna take care of myself. And once I am able to lock my hair up again, because I still have my hair, by the way, my old locks, I still have them. I'm going to wash them. I'm going to reattach them to the new locks, the new growth in general. Yeah, it's going to be a good old time, you know, witchy stuff. But nah, I'm going to do that. So it's not that I was like, oh, and if that doesn't become a thing, I do kind of like this look. I just need to work on my body again because I haven't been working out as much as I should have. Get me a nice lineup and everything, and I should be good. But yeah, that was it. That's really it. It was like, you know what? It's time for me to. Again, it was part of, you know, taking control of things, and it's like not waiting till late, not waiting till it's too late. So I'm like, let me start with my hair at least, and that's why. So yeah, I do, you know, in the future, I do miss the locks though. I ain't gonna front. I do miss the locks. Hell, I miss Charlotte. I miss being out in Charlotte. I don't miss that last relationship. But I think about it all. First of all, the food out there was amazing. The food up here fucking sucks. Except for my own cooking. Other than that, I don't know if it's, you know, depression or whatever. But the only times I want to eat here, and I'm admitting this to y'all because this is the channel for it, right? But the only times I want to eat here is the times I cook. I'm just being honest with you. Since I've gotten here, I haven't had a craving to eat. That doesn't mean I haven't eaten. I've eaten. It was just like, this ain't really good, man. Like, this ain't Charlotte food. I don't know what they put in that food down there in Charlotte. I don't know what they did, but man, that food will have you hooked. That food will have you not wanting to eat anywhere else unless it's I guess another place in the South. I have to, go travel elsewhere, and that's another thing. I do love traveling, so I do want to travel other places and see what's what before I settle down and figure out where I want to live for sure. Once I have the money and I fix my credit up and everything. But yeah, it's just those things. That's what's going on. I really enjoy my own cooking though. That's something that didn't. And I picked up a lot of cooking tricks down there too that I brought up here. So that's what's satisfying my cravings and things, which is good. So that's the part of Charlotte that came with me is my cooking that improved down there, immensely improved down there, and then it came down here, back up here, I guess. I miss the people. The people down there are just very, very sociable, very talkative. And again, I'm an introvert. And I went down there with the kind of nervousness of, how would I be able to interact? Because you hear the stories all the time about Southerners being so friendly and people talking to you. That's true. That's one of the true stereotypes. A good one, but I guess one of the true stereotypes or whatever about Southerners. They will talk to you. Stranger or not, they will talk, especially if they know you're not from there and they can tell you're not from there. They will chat it up with you, and it's always friendly conversations. And I miss that because you come back to Boston and you come back to a city like that, and it's like nobody wants to do that. You still get the dirty looks from the white liberals, the scared looks from the white liberals. You go apply to these jobs and the people aren't even friendly. They're not like, it doesn't, and I'm not saying there's a lot of people who hate their jobs. Even down there's people who hate their jobs. But at least there were people down there that was like, yeah, we don't like this job, but I do like the interacting with people and coworkers. Up here, I don't get that feeling at all. Hopefully you don't hear my name screaming again. But again, up here it's like, there's no really, you see people get along with coworkers, but it's very cliquish. That's number one. And two, even those cliques aren't even large. It's like 3 people just talking and having a joyous conversation amongst themselves, and everything else, all the other conversations is all Mr. Stern business, or just not even an acknowledgement of another person. And that's the crazy thing. I
I think I developed down there, it's like, fucking acknowledge me, man. Like, when I went down there, you can't be someone that is in the South and not acknowledge another human being. Period. Whether you walking past them, whether, you know, and now it wasn't all the time where I walk past someone, it's like a head nod or what's up or just eye contact, but it was a lot of times. And that was something that I grew to finally enjoy. So, you know, if you made it this far, I guess I'll just give you a tip. If you are an introvert, go visit the South or move down to the South for some time. That will help you out with your introverted ways. If you're someone that's really shy or, you know, you're kind of timid and you don't necessarily talk to people, they will make you feel comfortable and break you out of that shell. You know, you will get to talking. You will get to, not to every single buddy. You're not going to be out here just conversing with everybody. That wasn't me. You know, I still have my introverted ways, but at least it was a lot more. I talked to a lot more strangers out there than I've ever had in my life. Kid you not. And it felt great to do that, to be honest with you. Maybe because they were just nice people, great people, or whatever. But yeah, there's a few things that I miss about Charlotte, and you know, the people, and like I said, the food. Those are just some of the memorable ones. But I do intend on visiting multiple times and stuff. I was telling myself that, you know, if I ever want to retire, which I think retirement's a weird thing, and here I'll probably do a video on that as to why I feel as though it's just a weird thing, and I don't think I would ever retire as far as, you know, career goals of mine. But if I ever retire, I know a lot of people like to say Florida is the retirement place, right? Or if you're super rich, you can retire in LA, right? But to me, I'm like, Charlotte seems more like an, you know, underrated retiree place. If you're someone who likes to settle down and, you know, not really do much, because it's a city, but it's not city living like Boston, right? Or New York or even LA. So, you know, there's a lot of, it's a big place, but it's a lot of settling. It's a place where I feel as though it's a lot more settled down-ish than it is activity-ish, if that makes sense. Maybe I'll talk, but we could talk about that in private. This video's been on long enough. I appreciate you if you've watched all of this video. Even if you didn't watch it all at once, just the simple fact that you watched it, I appreciate that. I was just giving y'all an update on everything. I'm feeling good. I'm still healing. I'm still going through the process of you know, the change and everything else. I am working on not worrying so much about what's next, this, that, and the third. I am working on being happy for the little wins that I'm getting, because for that long stint, I'm telling you, the end of 2021 to the beginning, and it's still the beginning of this year, but you know, the very, very beginning, it just felt like life was one big L and nothing good was coming for me. So I am being more appreciative of the small L's, or I'm not small L's, but you know, small W's, wins in general, and just, you know, creating. That's the thing that's really keeping me sane, and it has been keeping me sane, is creating and enjoying the time that I have to experience life, have life, and build. That's what it is. So that's that. Thanks for checking me out. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Like, comment, share, subscribe until the next video. You see me, you hear from me. When you see and hear from me. Peace out and take care.